Now, America will not seek to impose any system of government on any other nation. The essential truth of democracy is that each nation determines its own destiny. But what America will do is increase assistance for responsible individuals and responsible institutions. With a focus on supporting good governance on parliaments, which check abuses of power and ensure that opposition voices are heard. On the rule of law, which ensures the equal administration of justice, on civic participation. So that young people get involved, and on concrete solutions to corruption like forensic accounting and automating services, strengthening hotlines. Protecting whistleblowers to advance transparency and accountability. And we provide this support. I have directed my administration to give greater attention to corruption in our human rights reports. People everywhere should have the right to start a business or get an education without paying a bribe. We have a responsibility to support those who act responsibly and to isolate those who don't. And that is exactly what America will do. Now, this leads directly to our second area of partnership. Supporting development that provides opportunity for more people. With better governance, I have no doubt that Africa holds the promise of a broader base of prosperity. Witness the extraordinary success of Africans in my country. America. They're doing very well. So they've got the talent, they've got the entrepreneurial spirit. The question is, how do we make sure that they're succeeding here in their home countries? The continent is rich in natural resources. And from cell phone entrepreneurs to small farmers, Africans have shown the capacity and commitment to create. Their own opportunities. But old habits must also be broken. Dependence on commodities or a single export. Has a tendency to concentrate wealth in the hands of the few, and leaves people too vulnerable to downturns. So in Ghana, for instance, oil brings great opportunities. And you have been very responsible in preparing for new revenue. But as so many Ghanaians know, oil cannot simply become the new cocoa. From South Korea to Singapore, history shows that countries thrive when they invest in their people and in their infrastructure. When they promote multiple export industries. Develop a skilled workforce, and create space for small and medium-sized businesses that create jobs. As Africans reach for this promise, America will be more responsible in extending our hand. By cutting costs that go to Western consultants and administration. We want to put more resources in the hands of those who need it, while training people to do more for. Themselves. That's why our $3.5 billion food security initiative is focused on new methods and technologies. For farmers, not simply sending American producers or goods to Africa. Aid is not an end in. Itself. The purpose of foreign assistance must be creating the conditions where it's no longer needed. I want to see Ghanaians not only self-sufficient in food. I want to see you exporting food to other countries and earning money. You can do that. Now, America can also do more to promote trade and investment. Wealthy nations must open our doors to goods and services from Africa in a meaningful way. That will be a commitment of my administration. And where there is good governance, we can broaden prosperity through public-private partnerships. That invest in better roads and electricity, capacity building that trains people to grow a business. Financial services that reach not just the cities but also the poor and rural areas. This is also in our own interests, for if people are lifted out of poverty and wealth is created in Africa, guess what? New markets will open up for our own goods. So it's good for both. One area that holds out both undeniable peril and extraordinary promise is energy. Africa gives off less greenhouse gas than any other part of the world. But it is the most threatened by climate change. A warming planet will spread disease, shrink water resources, and deplete crops. Creating conditions that produce more famine and more conflict. All of us, particularly the developed world, have a responsibility to slow these trends through mitigation. And by changing the way that we use energy. But we can also work with Africans to turn this crisis into opportunity. Together, we can partner on behalf of our planet and prosperity. And help countries increase access to power while leapfrogging the dirtier phase of development. Think about it, across Africa, there is bountiful wind and solar power, geothermal energy and Biofuels. From the Rift Valley to the North African deserts, from the western coasts to South Africa's crops. Africa's boundless natural gifts can generate its own power, while exporting profitable, clean energy abroad. These steps are about more than growth numbers on a balance sheet. They're about whether a young person with an education can get a job that supports a family. A farmer can transfer their goods to market, an entrepreneur with a good idea can start a business. It's about the dignity of work, it's about the opportunity that must exist for Africans in the 21st century. Just as governance is vital to opportunity. It's also critical to the third area I want to talk about, strengthening public health. In recent years, enormous progress has been made in parts of Africa. Far more people are living productively with HIV/AIDS, and getting the drugs they need. I just saw a wonderful clinic and hospital that is focused particularly on maternal health. But too many still die from diseases that shouldn't kill them. When children are being killed because of a mosquito bite. And mothers are dying in childbirth, then we know that more progress must be made. Yet because of incentives often provided by donor nations, many African doctors and nurses go overseas. Or work for programs that focus on a single disease. And this creates gaps in primary care and basic prevention. Meanwhile, individual Africans also have to make responsible choices that prevent the spread of disease. While promoting public health in their communities and countries. So across Africa, we see examples of people tackling these problems. In Nigeria, an interfaith effort of Christians and Muslims has set an example of cooperation to confront malaria. Here in Ghana and across Africa, we see innovative ideas for filling gaps in care, for instance. Through e-health initiatives that allow doctors in big cities to support those in small towns. America will support these efforts through a comprehensive, global health strategy. Because in the 21st century, we are called to act by our conscience but also by our common interest. Because when a child dies of a preventable disease in Accra, that diminishes us everywhere. And when disease goes unchecked in any corner of the world, we know that it can spread across oceans and continents. And that's why my administration has committed $63 billion to meet these challenges. $63 billion. Building on the strong efforts of President Bush, we will carry forward the fight against HIV/AIDS. We will pursue the goal of ending deaths from malaria and tuberculosis, and we will work to eradicate polio. We will fight neglected tropical disease. And we won't confront illnesses in isolation. We will invest in public health. Systems that promote wellness and focus on the health of mothers and children. Now, as we partner on behalf of a healthier future, we must also stop the destruction that comes not from illness. But from human beings. And so the final area that I will address is conflict. Let me be clear, Africa is not the crude caricature of a continent at perpetual war. But if we are honest, for far too many Africans, conflict is a part of life, as constant as the sun. There are wars over land and wars over resources. And it is still far too easy for those without conscience to manipulate whole communities into fighting among faiths and tribes. These conflicts are a millstone around Africa's neck. Now, we all have many identities of tribe and ethnicity, of religion and nationality. But defining oneself in opposition to someone who belongs to a different tribe, or who worships a different prophet, has no place in the 21st century. Africa's diversity should be a source of strength, not a cause for division. We are all gods. Children. We all share common aspirations to live in peace and security, to access education and opportunity. To love our families and our communities and our faith. That is our common humanity. That is why we must stand up to inhumanity in our midst. It is never justified, never justifiable to target innocence in the name of ideology. It is the death sentence of a society to force children to kill in wars. It is the ultimate mark of criminality and cowardice to condemn women to relentless and systemic rape. We must bear witness to the value of every child in Darfur and the dignity of every woman in the Congo. No faith or culture should condone the outrages against them. And all of us must strive for the peace and security necessary for progress.